Well, good evening all. Welcome to the BATC Thursday Net. Could see a few stations testing earlier. The order I have so far is G8VPG, followed by G7JTT, G0DQH, G4BBK, G8KOE, and M0DTS. In that order, and I'll bring up the rear, having slotted a few others in. So very good evening to you all, and straight round to Sean please. G8VPG and the group.
Right, I think we're in. Right, mute the sound. A very good evening to everybody, including today, the chairman there. And I'm sorry I've been missing on parade the last couple of weeks, but I have been very busy actually. The first thing I want to say actually is that some of you will know that I helped to organise a radio rally, the West of England radio rally in Frome in Somerset. And unfortunately, we've had to cancel that this year for the reasons which you can guess. So that one is cancelled for this year. 21st of June it was planned, but it's been booked for 20th of June next year, 2021. So hopefully we'll be back to normal then. I've been quite busy the past few weeks. I've had to get my amplifier back in on the bench to do some modifications. I've improved the ventilation, the temperature control on it, and I've also been busy making an interdigital filter, which is in line now as a 4-pole interdigital filter, and that took about a week or so to make, and was quite a job actually. But it's in line now and is working extremely well. And this evening I'm using Portsdown Lime DVB and the C920 webcam, which is directly connected to it. That seems to work really well for me, I think. So I've been quite big. For the next week, the next thing's planned. I've got all the bits to make another mini tuner, so I shall be busy building the mini tuner. And I've also got a Pluto, and I'm starting to play with that. So that's everything from here. So we'll pass it round to the next station there. This is G8VPG in Bristol.
Sorry. Right, I'll start again. Apologies about that. I keep forgetting I mute the microphone. Basically, what I was saying was that although I've done very little radio over the past few days, what I have been seeing is I've been following a guy who's managed to get Android working on a unrooted, get GNU radio working on an unrooted Android device, and I'm quite interested to see if I can get it to work on my mobile phone, which is one of these Chinese Huawei, I think it's a P20 or whatever it is, I can't remember now. Anyway, but the thing is about it, it does actually have a H.265 encoder on now and can do 4K video. So you can imagine what I'm going to try with it, but we shall see. It might be one of those things that goes nowhere, but we can only but try. Other than that, works extremely mad. I'm potentially going to have to go to 7 days a week shortly, and so not really looking forward to that, but it's one of those things that I'm doing a rather specific job at the moment, and it may require it. Anyway, with that, I've doubled my time now for my own stupidity as always. Take care all, and round to Jim next, G7JTT.
Right. Yeah, didn't copy anything from poor Jim. I have to turn my volume down now again. Yeah, it seemed to be bobbing up and down all over the place. Right, let's have a look a minute. Put up a picture. Hi, greetings all. This is G4BVK in Bristol, and yeah, it's nice to be on again. I haven't really done very much on the radio scene at the minute, but I thought I'd make a show just to say hello if nothing else. Nice to see Sean on, and yeah, signal's okay. Your sound started to break up a little bit towards the end, Sean. I don't know why that was necessarily. It was going a bit intermittent in the last sort of minute or so of your transmission, but apart from that it was fine. But there we go. Using for other people, using the ports down with a line at the moment, running about 40 watts into a 1.1 dish, and that seems to be working reasonably well at the minute. And so there we go. So I'll keep it short, and let's go back to the test card, and I'll leave it for someone else. So.
Well, I think we've made it at last. Let's make sure I've got some sound coming through before I talk to myself. Yep, that's good. Didn't make it last week. It was my wife's birthday, so thought we'd spend the evening with her. Don't need the headphones now. I thought the system wasn't working with a number of stations, having difficulty to to get sound, etc. Testing a new PA, which I've been playing with, and getting the volts just right. The PA is underneath the dish. It's one of these, one from the Polish lot, Nokia I think they are. Modified it, and seems to work okay. Probably running it at about 30-35 watts at the moment into the 1.8 dish. Also been getting a remote ability to switch the power on or off to it, which is actually radio controlled now, just because I had the kit. The power supply's in the garage, and it's a really long feed down to things. Apart from that, not been a lot. I've been the week before last didn't make it. Had sort of minor problems with power supplies and things and such like, but I think we've got that sorted out now. But that's probably enough waffle from me. At least I've made it, and I'll make sure I don't switch off before the audio's caught up with itself.
Right, okay, see if that's working. Yeah, it's working. Microphone, yeah, good evening all. There we go. Right, yeah, well, it seems to have come around quick from last week. It's There's been a few issues this evening, but hopefully man's okay at the moment. Not a great deal to report really. Been playing around with the Langston stuff quite a bit. Nothing new to report there, I don't think. I was playing around with the audio on SSP is not quite as punchy as you might want it to be. So I was looking at the continuous envelope SSP modules for Genia Radio, but I couldn't. I haven't been able to get that to work properly yet, so put that to one side. But I'll probably come back to that. Still pondering a little bit more about how to put things up at the top of the mast with the Pluto and the Langston. And this evening just been playing around with a little board on 3.4 gigs, so some people may recognise this one. If I can just apologies for the logo on the picture, but quite a few people will recognise this as part of one of the airspan boards that we were playing around with a few years ago. So this is just a section of one now, so basically you just got the bandsaw and cut along there, and along the top. That leaves us the 5 volt power supply, negative 5 volts, and that all of it works pretty much. There's only have to add one wire to the bias for this device down here, or the drain supply. So yeah, that takes like 0 dBm in and gives like 300 milliwatts out there. So that's just about perfect to go on the end of the Pluto, conveniently. So yeah, that's the basis of my start of my 3.4 gigs on the Pluto to live at the top of the mast. So more to come on that one. Well, that's the can't remember what it was now. It was a FMC 3436 is the device that's on there. So the original board looked like right. That's the original board anyway, or a version of it. There we go. You can sort of see the section that I've cut out on there. So yeah, I've got a few of these kicking around and not really using them, so I thought it's a good idea to mod that and go onto the end of the Pluto. So working on that and some switching. Nothing new there, but the coloured waterfall really. The AGC works quite nice as well now for blocking things. just having some distortion on the output on that, so there we go. Right, that's it for me for now. It's round to Clive. So G4FEP, M0DTS in the group.
Right. Good evening all. Okay. Good. Trust everybody's well. Finally made it. Sorry, I was on the wrong frequency initially. What's been going on here? Well, the 5.7 gig gear is finally off the bench. It's declared complete, so it's now in a box on the chair. I can hear the relatively local beacon on it, so I'm pretty pleased that that's working, and about 10 watts. That's good. One more tiny job to do is fit that eBay splitter which arrived today. I just need to fit that onto on receive between the narrowband and the drone. So LNA into that, and I can drive both receivers at the same time. But yes, the big success story here is I've put up an 80 centimetre dish on the tower with one of these PCB log periodic sort of wideband feed, which Sam sells. They actually come from Kent, Britain, over in the States, and this one's 2 gig to 11 gig. And the contest over the weekend, I actually used it on 2.3. It worked well. 3.4, I worked somebody at 180 kilometres, so that's pretty good. 5.6, I can hear the Farnham beacon on, and on 10 gigs I can get into the Farnham web SDR on 10 gigs. So pretty impressed that it's an all-bander, and that's fed with 10 meters of Echo Flex 10 so it's at the top of the mast but no equipment at the top. So pretty impressed actually how that all worked. The other thing I've been playing around with, of course, is Langston. Doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Yeah, the waterfall is there. It's, I need to have a look at what I've got connected to the Pluto. But the colour waterfall's pretty good, thank you, Rob. And that's pretty much it this time round. A couple of other projects on the bench that I might talk about in a minute. So round to Mike. 8GT.
What the coming to do with the night anyway. Good evening everyone. I'm not sure why the pre-code is trying to transmit at a different rate to what it was set to, but I suspect it's got something to do with Collins before EML's software update not always working. And I've noticed this with my particular memory stick in that sometimes it doesn't sync properly. So that might be what happened that time. But it came up fine, it was all working, but it was just doing with the 125 colour symbols HPS code. Also in buckets. Yeah, okay, I still remember that. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Oh yeah, no, that's deliberate, I'm afraid. It's because it's set to very, very low rate coding. And hopefully you can at least hear something. But it's set to reduce the audio bit rate so it works much better at 35 kilosymbols per second. And I haven't changed it over. I can do that, but it's a bit tedious. Anyway, I've not done anything. I've been busy at work, as most of you have to work hard, so I will pass it back and see who else is going to come on. You stick with me now, I'll come back later. Please hear and do it.
Right, okay, I think that's me. Let's adjust the phone. There we go. I'm not putting any audio out, or at least I'm not getting any audio off myself. Let's just make sure I've got a full carry around. Oh, I'm actually seeing half a constellation there. That's looking. That's
yeah, or at least I'm not getting any audio off myself.
There we go. Oh, I'm upside down. Okay, fix that. Right, there you go. Well, evening. So I missed my turn. I'd got a oil barrel outside that we had a bonfire in a couple of nights ago with the neighbours, and I just chucked a load of rubbish in it. And I looked out the window, and it's smoking like a good one. There must have been some embers in the bottom, so I just had to go and chuck some paraffin and actually get it burning to burn off the smoke. Otherwise, I'm going to upset the neighbours on the other side. I think we upset them the other day. I don't want to do it twice. So yeah, not being up to a huge amount radio wise. Started playing about with the ports now. You can see it. Let's see if I can get a picture of it. I don't know if that's coming out at all. I'm just pointing a torch under the desk at the moment. That is that's a 7-inch touchscreen. The case is completely CNC milled out of plate. Well, you know, why not? You can see all the attenuators and stuff on top. That's just messing around trying to get some levels to work. The back looks reasonably impressive, apart from the fact there's just one lone SMA poking through it. I put loads of holes in for all sorts of bits and pieces. All that's in there these days is a Line Mini. I did have the earlier version, was it 2017 or 2018 ports down, the one with the modulator board that you ran with the little analog devices synth units and the filters and all the rest of it. I played about with that on a breadboard and just did some local milliwatt signals just to play locally. Didn't really get around doing anything with it, and then the Line turned up, so I moved on to a Line. So I've been playing around with that. And I've got some amplifiers, which are, they're just die-cast box with a heatsink and one of the Mitsubishi 60-watt bricks inside. So nothing special. So I've been playing around with that, trying to get the drive amplifier, which is one of the little mimic type devices. I'm not sure what the device is, but it's the same package as a PGA 103. And they were just off eBay. So I've been trying to get the drives to those to get it as clean an output as possible, and then get the bias and the drive to get the amplifier going. I'm getting about 10 watts out. That seems to be about the sweet spot. But I can't get anything better than about 37 dB on the shoulders. I'm getting about 45 dB on this is on pretty much any rate. I'm testing at about 250 kilosymbols. Because I think that's one of the rates that will fit into VHF quite reasonably. I'm on the port on the Line. I'm getting about neg 45 on the shoulders. By the time I've come through the drive PA, which doesn't have much, and that Mitsubishi PA adds a bit more, I'm down to about the sort of 37-ish dB on the shoulders, which is that's not what we're after, is it? I think we're after neg 60, so I've got a long way to go on that. But I dug out a filter which I tuned a while ago, which is this thing, which is silver-plated brass slab with a load of quarter wavelength helical inductors inside. Now I did wonder about using that on transmit as well to drop the shoulders as you're getting outside of the amateur band. But it's 3 dB bandwidth is 1.5 meg, something like that. 10 dB, it actually rolls off quite steeply. It's almost, because it's got so many resonators in, you can step them around a little bit and get them reasonably flat passband and a very sharp drop off. So sort of 145 to 149. So 4 meg is the 10 dB cut off on this. So it's quite usable, but 2 dB of loss on the throughput. So it really depends on how much antenna gain I've got to whether I'm going to be able to use that on the transmit path or whether use it dual on transmit and receive, or whether just use it on the receive path. It's a bit big and heavy just for a receive filter, but it's what I got, so there you go. And I've got another PA another Mitsubishi PA for 77s in an identical box. Little point waving at the camera because it looks exactly the same. So, okay, that's it for me then. I'll just keep an eye on that bonfire outside and make sure it's burned down now, so should be okay. So I shall pass it to whoever is next, and that's Dave, GKQ. Now I know the call sign is in the stream, so I don't have to legally identify myself. But there you go. There's a visual one. Round to you, Dave.
Okay, just checking that's coming through. Okay, yep, it is right. Good evening to all those who've joined since you opened the net. A few problems tonight. Shame about Jim's signal because it was perfect before the net. So I don't know why we had a problem there. West of England rally. That's a shame we had to cancel that, Sean, but that's the way things are going at the moment. I'm running out of bits of junk. I need to go to a rally soon. I noticed Dirk 0-5 GS in Belgium. Him and his dad been playing with Portsdown. Pleased that's been going well. And Clive, yes, I do the SD cards. In fact, I'm just building another 3 to go out in the post tomorrow. Rob is being very modest when he says he hasn't done anything much. I'll come to that in a minute. And Gonzo, your video resolution's a bit high for 333, so every time you move the camera, the image just dies and the sound just dies. But if you sit very still, we get a very nice still picture. New toy this week is the Raspberry Pi high definition camera, which is sat here. It's a bit bigger than this, smaller than that, because it's got a lens on it. You can see it just connects to the Pi by the same ribbon cable as the other camera, but it's got a C mount here. It's also got a CS adapter, so it'll do CS or C. And I've got an old TV camera lens on there because I was too cheap to buy a lens. But that is working on my first tests with the Portsdown. So I'll do a bit more work on that. They've sold out of them, unfortunately. Don't know whether it's better in low light, Rob. No idea. Haven't tried it. Right, I'm just going to zoom out a bit. Excuse me a minute. There we go. Here is Langston. Rob has done a very nice colour waterfall for it. I'm not going to show the picture because just about everybody has shown it tonight. But what I'm going to do is show you the innards of mine. The screen and some of the audio is on this board on the top. Raspberry Pi 4 up here. Pluto in a metal box. So the Pluto's out of its plastic box and in a metal box, so that it's shielded. There we go, inside is Pluto. PIC control for transmit receive switching is at the top. There's a post amplifier for the Pluto there that takes it up to about 10 dBm. It then goes into this splitter which switches it to 2 PAs inside, and the bit I'm working on at the moment is the changeover relays right at the top here. I'm not sure if you might see those on the picture, but we're now at the stage where I've got 5 watts out of it on 70 sems, 3 watts out of it on 2 meters, and about dBm on 1296 or 2400 if you want to feed it to external amplifiers. So that's the main toy I've been playing with, but mainly hardware stuff, not software yet. Prepare for the onslaught of software there. And of course a bit of work on Portsdown, a maintenance release with somebody had spotted that the Lime calibration wasn't preserved on update. That card's just been built. That's video output there from it. Right, not lots on tonight, so I will put it back round to Sean G8VPG. Let's just go over there so we actually get some test cards. Yeah, my picture breaks up slightly as well on quick pans, but anyway, you can see the test. See a call sign up there. G8GKQ round to G8VPG.
Right, there we are. Thank you very much, Dave. It's been an interesting net this evening. One or two technical issues. The satellite's been very busy actually, and when I was on before there were 3 massive mega symbol signals on, which I think was hogging all the power. So it's looking a bit down at the moment, but there we go. I can get a D4 on a good day. Anyway, I wish all stations at 7.3. It's been a very interesting evening and some some interesting projects working there. Tomorrow we've got quite a busy day here. I'm having a bit of a celebration, a VE Day celebration, and the road I live in is all got bunting out, and there's various activities, all correctly socially spaced, of course. So 7 for 8 to everyone. This is G8VPG. Looking forward to speaking to you all again next week.
Right, hopefully this time I have the sound on. 1 2 1 2. Yes. To Jim, if you're still listening, Jim, if you want to try again on the same frequency, up to you. If not, put a signal up, well, if there's space, somewhere else, and I'll relay it on for you if you like. I can't do sound at the moment for some reason. The VLC feed I've got coming from my Longmin is coming through, but OBS doesn't seem to recognise the audio from it for some reason, so I'd have to put the microphone near it. Yeah, I think we're all suffering a little bit from this resolution issues. It's a lot easier at 265, but anyway, that's here nor there. So I haven't really got much more to add other than to say happy VE Day tomorrow. I guess that's what you say, I don't know. And oh, there was one other thing actually I just remembered. For those that are around on Sunday morning, there is I can't remember if it's a German or an Austrian station that does a bit of a like a news broadcast. It's actually really quite good. I've no idea what they're saying, obviously. My German is very poor, but it's very well run and quite enjoyable to watch. And also, again, I've lost all the bits and pieces. I should be much more ready for all this, but I noticed that GNU Radio conference that was going to go on later on this year, they're going to stream everything for free. If you look on the social media sites, you'll find it. And also, I also noticed that there was a load of stuff on there from the SDR thing that should have took place this year that they're streaming. One's already been streamed. Again, if you look on YouTube, you'll find them. So that's pretty much what I'll be watching tomorrow whilst the missus is still in bed asleep, hopefully. So with that, I'll put it round to Jim. If you can't get a signal up, Jim, transmit somewhere else, and I'll stick your picture up on here.
Yeah, it seems like poor Jim's having his fair share of problems tonight. But right, not much to add really. Put a picture back up. Anyway, it's been quite interesting tonight. And yeah, I understand a few people are celebrating VE Day tomorrow, but I don't think our road is doing anything. A few people got a few flags up and things, but I don't think I've heard anything going on in the street. We just have to wait and see. But anyway, so say 73 to everybody, and it's been great seeing the stations tonight. And see what happens next week. So I'll say 73s from me in Bristol, and look forward to seeing you all perhaps another evening there. Cheers for now.
Right, I think we're back. Good. It's been a good turnout this evening. Interesting. Some stations I've been suffering a little bit with the sound, using the scan and tune sort of receive side of things. Some are perfect, some are a little bit intermittent, but it's probably something this end. I'll keep it short as time's running on. but not a great deal to add other than what I said earlier was playing with. But I'll see if I can have some more interesting things. I'll try and do a bit more. Mainly been doing a lot of gardening, and I hate gardening. So thanks to all. Good to see you all, and look forward to the next one.
The way round. I think that's the way round. Wait till I get an image. Let's see what we get. Well, I suppose I can talk anyway, even before I get some video out of it. Go on, decode, you bugger. Just double check that I am actually connected. Yeah, it's just streaming. I've dropped the frame rate. Get an image. Oh, there we go. Right, I've got about a 20-second delay on the decode. I'm actually seeing myself on the BATC website now. I'm not seeing myself locally for some reason. Don't understand that. Nothing on the mini tune. I can see good constellation there. There's definitely 4 distinct patches of murk on the constellation, but no decode. Right, I've dropped the frame rate. Well, I've dropped the resolution, so I assume that's going to drop the data rate, not the frame rate. I've got no control of the frame rate. 640 by 480 at the moment. Hopefully that's coming through without being all choppy. I didn't get many signals from other stations. I got a little bit from John, TJJ, JTT, and I got pretty much solid copy from Dave, but nobody else, surprisingly. Oh, I did get some copy off Mike earlier on, but your audio is very strange, Mike. Very sounded like a very, very low rate audio, very difficult to understand. So input resolution that's too high, well, was too high, I assume. I'm down to low resolution now, assuming that the application took it. Okay, yeah, just reading Mike's comments on the audio. So I will pass it back round again, seeing as I've had me waffle, so So I'll just see who's next. There you go. There's the call sign. So you've got it in picture. G0NZO. Back to I keep find the button. Come on, it keeps moving on the screen.
Okay, well, my turn again. Nothing much to report at this end, as I say. Finished 5.7 gig alpha. The next project is probably to rehouse the low band PA. I think somebody was waving a 60 watt brick around. There's one inside the chassis here. That's going to be rehoused into something a bit manageable. I actually inherited this chassis from Peter G3PYV, and I need to rehouse it into something a bit more suitable. So that's probably the project for this week, as well as playing with the 5.6 3.4 on this multi-band dish feed. I'm thinking about finding out if there's a design which will a bit more robust than PCB to do it in proper waveguide or something. So there we go. Right, okay, I'll cut. I'll say good evening to everybody, and catch you all next week.
Okay, we should be back, hopefully. Yeah, we're back. Okay. Yeah, that's just a view looking out the window from the shack. There's a bit of weird patterning because I've got the light on in the shack and it's behind the blinds. It's on there. So yeah, it's the big dish at the bottom. That's what I'm using for uplink. You can't quite see the little dish in the background. It's kind of hiding behind the big dish on the side of the shed, so you can't quite see that. There's a 6 metre Yagi. Oh, actually, I can probably zoom that in, can't I? Don't know whether there's going to be any resolution left if I do, but if I zoom that in, there you go. You might be able to make out a little bit more now, possibly. Let's just check that's going. Yeah, 6 metre 5 element LFA. There's a 2 metre about 7 element at a slant polarity. Then there's a 44 element SHF 23 SEMS antenna at the top. So that's the arrangement on the mast here. Yeah, okay, Dave. Thanks for the info on the camera a little bit. I'll get one at some point. I'm just curious at low light, just when you're portable in the van and stuff like that, it's light is a thing. And generally in the shack as well, anything that's low light is better. Hence my camcorder, if I switch over to that one. Be the most sensitive thing. I've been playing around with settings, so that actually does look a little bit dark there, so brilliant, eh? Yeah, anything else? I don't think so. I haven't done any more with the 70 SEMS amplifier. That's still on the floor, just sat there waiting for some work. Got down there. I had a look at the big circuit boards I had last week. 4 faulty relays on that in the end. Went through and checked the whole lot. That thing there, you seen off Paul last week. That's the 8.4 gig feed that I've put together with squashed depolarizer in it. I need to do some work on that, as sensitivity is not quite as good as what I hoped, but I think it's because I've remounted the LNA on the back there into some fresh waveguide, so the match, it isn't quite optimized for that input match and things, so think that's it there. Yeah, Langston, is there anything to say about that? I haven't done any more with my little tuning knob arrangement that I made up. That's basically stopped the same. Things seem to be working quite nicely on it. The only problem I'm seeing is that the USB is very flaky on the Pluto. I've tried external power, not have an external powered hub, and it's very flaky no matter what. When I have it running on the network, all seems to be fine. But I've only got one network adapter that works at the moment, so still working on that. Yeah, the waterfall is now, apologies for the light there, the waterfall now is, that's not good, is it? Blue to green to yellow to red, so I've put a little function in the Langston code to auto-generate a colour palette. So you can specify how many different colours you want in it, and you can specify the colours you want it to go from and to. So you can add quite a few different transitions if you want, or you could just have black and white. It's up to you really. But it's quite easy to adjust in the code if you want to do that. I was just using the colour palette file, just a bitmap, but I thought I'll make a automated palette generator, and that makes life easier. Don't think there's anything more. The AGC, I said before, the AGC seems to be working quite well now. Tweaked a little bit to slow it down a bit. It's sounding more like a proper radio every day. So there we go. Yeah, I need to do a bit more with that. The tuning's still a little bit hit and miss with the little encoder I've got. Right, that is it, I think. So we are bound to Mike, G0MJW, M0DTS.
Okay. Yeah, Mike. Okay. Something odd there. Won't get any PIDs out, anything decodable out of you, although you were strong enough. Yeah, I think with all of us playing with lots of different things, it is a bit tricky sometimes. Good to have got your Polish PA running there, Martin. Didn't comment on that. And Rob, yeah, the Langston looks really good. I'm hoping to get mine to the stage where I can actually use it as a transceiver in the next couple of days as a standalone box. But I'm beginning to regret having put it in a plastic box, because I think it's going to be a bit noisy RF wise from the Raspberry Pi. Anyway, good to see all the progress people are making tonight. Not sure what we're going to do about you, Jim. Really sorry that nothing was working there. Same problems as you've had previously, basically. But it worked perfectly before the net, so not sure why. And Gonzo, much better video that time. A lot better. Yes, alright, the box is too small, but you never know what size box you need, Mike, until you put it in a box, and it's still wrong when you do. So I had to do something. Right, well, thanks all for coming on tonight. We'll be on the same time next week. Be on the same time next week, and yeah, it seems that every alternate week we have technical issues. Right, somebody's come up on top of me. Ah, I'm back. I'm being jammed again. Somebody came up on top of me. Okay, I'll close the net for tonight and leave it as a free channel, but thanks very much all for coming up and good to progress. G8GKQ closing the BATC net.
But Sunday's going to be really cold.
Yeah, I saw that it was going to be really cold. I doubt much wildlife will be kicking around. The swallows will be panicking. It's going to be really cold, but yeah. There we go. I've just put a signal back up there. No, Terry, not tonight.
I'll leave you with Terry, who's still on 750, and I'll give you a call on this frequency when I'm back, okay?
Roger, Clive. Catch you in a bit, M0DTS.
G4FEP.
Yeah, I was just going to add something there. Let me just turn that volume down. Yeah, tonight I've been using the Pluto, the non-focusing camera on the Pluto. Let's fix that. Actually, let's not use that camera. Let's go from that camera to that camera and then unplug the power, which means we've got about 5 minutes. Right, so yeah, I've been using Pluto this evening. This is the box Pluto, which is a what was that number I gave you, Terry, for the box for the Pluto that needs minimal trimming?
1590B3.
Okay, 1590B3. So if anyone's wondering, yeah. Right, yeah, so if anyone's wondering, that's a 1590B3 box. It's a bit snug from end to end, but I milled a little bit off. Unfortunately, if you don't have a milling machine, it's going to be a bit difficult, but you could grind with the Dremel a little step off for the board to just come back a little bit further this way, and it allows the micro USBs to go in there and just poke through the edge, like only just. So it turns out it was quite a neat job. And say that it's the original sockets come out the other side still, I think. Yeah, I didn't change them. But anyway, this week I've got, so there's an adapter in there which is the most loose adapter you could ever imagine. That comes into this hub which you can't see. You maybe can see. I don't want to touch it and move it because it'll probably disconnect itself. So I've got a memory card in there, memory stick, which has got the scripts on that Colin G4EML has done, that auto sets it all up for H.264 and gives you the new channel list and various other features. Allows you to have no audio and stuff like that. So that hub actually works, and it's some sort of generic 4-port hub in a black plastic case. Sorry I can't show you any better. I need a light in there, don't I? Hang on. I don't want to touch it and move it, otherwise it probably won't work. And I'll try and, let me see. There we go. You can make it out there now, maybe a little bit of a shine from the camera. It's not exactly great, is it? Anyway, it's in there. So yeah, and then I've got a network adapter which is connected up to that. Now this network adapter is just floating in the wind here. I had to rewire a different cable onto it because it did have a micro USB, so I had to convert it to a standard USB to plug it into that hub. So it is run across the network at the moment, and it auto boots up with modified scripts and things like that. So it seems to be working quite well. My only issue was HDMI from my computer. I had to grind the ends a bit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my computer HDMI output doesn't always have audio, and that confuses the little audio in the H.264, 265 encoder box. That does not like it when you go between audio and no audio, and then in succession the Pluto doesn't like it when you don't send any audio to it, so it's a bit of a pain. I don't know why the audio channel has to switch off when you're not actually sending anything, even though it's an active device there. So anyway, so yeah, I don't think there's anything more to add than that. So yeah, just playing with this 3.4. I did actually swap out that device there to a device marked .3. Now, if you look up a MAR3, it isn't a MAR3, and it isn't an ERA3, so I don't know what 3 it is, because it works at 3.4 gigs really well and gives about 20 dB of gain. So it's a .3 part, but no idea what actual part it is. Anyway, I have a little small supply of them, so I'll just keep using them. So yeah, so the filter's sort of about 30 meg wide, something like that, 20-30 meg. It's tuned by adjusting those little tabs on there. Normally it's at 3.5 gigs or thereabouts, so we just bend them little tabs in and it comes in quite nice. Luckily this bit of board that's cut off does not harm its function in any way, apart from missing one track, which comes down here from the 5 volts. So there's one wire attaching to it, which is quite amazing considering I just took the bandsaw to it and just chopped it up and it still works. So I'm just feeding 12 volts into here, which then supplies 5 volts, 7 volts, and then there's a negative 5 volts off that chip down the bottom there. So quite amazing really that it actually just works by chopping it up like that. I expected a lot of tracks to be routed around, but anyway, and it's quite easy to put some sockets on, so that generates like 300 milliwatts from the Pluto, so that's not bad at all. So there we are. Right, don't think I've got any more to add than that. I'll have to think of something new for next week. So yeah, I haven't done a great deal. The Langston's gone off again now. I've knocked the cable. So yeah, I've ordered a few network adapters and things like that. Airspan, no. NBB310. Good question. I don't know. I'll Google that actually. Let's just make a note of it. NBB310. So it's .3 anyway, which is marked on the top. I always thought there were MAR3s that I had, but maybe not. But yeah, it is. It is. I showed the full board before. That's what the full board looks like. So it's basically just up this side and along the top. You can just chop that bit and do away with all the rest and use it with the Pluto. The receive path you probably could use, but it's just not as nice to cut out. I did cut out this filter here so I can use it on receive, but I've just took the filter out because I'll probably use a different type of preamp that's a bit more sensitive. These had like about a 5 dB noise figure or something, so yeah, I'm just trying to get A-band working, put the Pluto in a metal box, not a plastic one, not yet anyway, and get it at the top of the mast and actually have it in use and try it and sort of see how it goes. That's the plan anyway, so try and get that working for next week, and then maybe demo that possibly, but then again, yeah, it could happen. Next Wednesday, Thursday, I might be able to get something done. I've got tomorrow left. I'm back at work for the weekend and Monday, Tuesday. So we'll be on the net again the next couple of weeks. Okay. What else? Actually, did I take some video of that? Yes, I did. Let's see. Stand by. Right, I'll just put test card up for a second. Okay, what's that looking at? the outdoor camera has now gone black. Right, let me just try something here. See if I can play this video. It's rather brutal. To the board, that is. Right, HDMI out. HDMI out does not pick up on there. Oh, how annoying is that? Yeah, that's disappointing. Yeah, it doesn't pick up that camera on my HDMI input. Very annoying. Nope. That's my Canon camera on the HDMI out, but the Blackmagic doesn't see it. Sorry about that. Try a different way. Where are we at? Let's see. Apologies for hogging the channel. If someone does want to look at something, does want to put a signal up of that, just shout. P25, I50. There we go. Right. If I do this. Right, so how do I play back? Yeah, good night, Terry. M0DTS. Right, how do I play back on my camera? That's playback. Right, play. Next. I'm not great with this camera. Nope, nope. Ah, there we go. See if this works. It might not, but we shall see. This is chopping up the board on the saw. So, yeah, apologies for the picture. It isn't working particularly well, that is it? So yeah, chop the board up on the bandsaw and all is good. This is the Canon. Ooh, good question. N6. Okay, thanks, John. Love doing this to boards. It's quite satisfying. Power for camera. Where's my power? Otherwise, it's going to switch off. There we go. Yeah, it's really handy for chopping circuit boards, the little bandsaw that I got. Really, really handy. Did this with the Nokia 77PA as well. I think I took a video of that as well, actually. So you can get a nice, nice clean cut with it. Chopping parts of boards out and things. Quite. There's no static precaution taken here. It's a Canon EOS 100D. Quite an old Canon. I find my Blackmagic a bit sensitive to what type of signal you put into it. It doesn't auto detect, and in OBS you select the format, and if you don't get the right one, it doesn't play. I have to have my Panasonic camcorder in 50p, I think. If I put it in 50i, it doesn't work. So there we go. So there you are. One bit of board chopped up. Right. So anyway, I'll turn that off. Thought I'd add that anyway. Everyone likes chopping up PCBs and things. So there we go. Right. I think that's it for me tonight. think there's any more comments there. I saw the MBB310, yeah. I'm using OBS Auto. Yeah, I've now got it coming up as, what does it come up as? HDMI. Blackmagic device. It used to come up as just video capture, WDM or whatever it was, but now it comes up as Blackmagic. See, I can't mode. On mode, I don't have an auto, I have to select one. So that's the problem, it doesn't auto detect it. If I go on, if I bring it up here, this is what it comes up like. Oh, this is going to go well, isn't it? Like, let's try and zoom it instead. There the dot. So actually, no, it's I50. It works on. It's not. It doesn't work on P50. That's right. So yeah, it comes up as Intensity Pro HDMI, and then we get lots of options in there, but I don't get an auto, so I have to select the right one. If I change it to another one, it doesn't play ball. And this is with the latest drivers on. It broke everything initially, but then I realised it came up as Blackmagic device instead of video capture, like a standard video capture anyway. So anyway, that's how it comes up here. Didn't want to. I'll have to check the settings for the other one and add an option for that. But the Canon camera doesn't put out a full screen HDMI picture. It basically puts it in a little picture frame and things like that. So yes. Okay, right. So that's it from me. And there's my call sign. I'll leave that on. Okay. So, good night all. M0DTS.
Yes, this is the Blackmagic mini recorder capture card with a Canon Legria camcorder plugged into it. So it does work, but as you say, Rob, I had to update the driver, and it appears as a Blackmagic device now rather than as a capture device. So at least it works. I've also tried it with my DSLR, but that is interlaced output, and the interlacing on it's quite bad. This is supposedly interlaced output, but I don't notice any interlacing. I've got rather high amount of video.
Right, it's working again now. I don't know what had happened, but I think something had got corrupted in the flash with using all these other alternative scripts and the memory stick. I don't think the memory stick always loads correctly, and sometimes it seems to have problems. So I don't know. Anyway, back in operation now. I've taken the little hub out for the moment, which was this thing which had a USB stick like that, and that's what I'm using to reprogram things, but quite keen to see Charles' new software and how well that works. It does AAC, but I had some issues with the GUI, and I'm sure Charles is working on it when he gets around to it. Well, it might be a while, but it was good to see the revision. The other thing is, can it now take in a transport stream in the same way that the Pluto does and fix it? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Right, better go off now, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't actually caught what the problem was, Rob, but I think this thing here had somehow managed to corrupt the flash memory on the Pluto, and it looked all right where the settings were. It had somehow got mixed up, and I don't know what exactly it was. But there you go. It's still dropping out though, isn't it? Yours is doing that as well, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if I'm dropping out with you, but I don't know if that's me or something else. I do wonder maybe that OBS updated itself and it's broken something as well when it did that. Anyway, I'm going to go to RT as well. 7 everyone. G0
Yeah, I'll just try again. I've turned the video codec rate down and whether the audio is getting through. I've got the audio turned down. Yes, it's getting through. Yes, it's AAC audio now, and I'm using the NVIDIA graphics card to do the video encoding, the H.264 video encoding. I've got a rather bright LED light staring me in the face. That's why I'm looking a bit peculiar and pale. So that's the changes at this end. The primarily the AAC audio. I figured out I was missing one of the headers, which is required for the standard MPEG audio, but it's required for the AAC audio. And I'm also using OBS as well. I've corrected I've added 44.1 sample rate to the audio input for the DATV Express, so you can actually grab the audio via OBS now. So that's the other change I've made. And I've also got RTX voice switched on at the moment because the noise from the lighting in here is quite loud. So I thought I'd switch that on to get rid of it. So anyway, I tried recording the whole. Yeah, I know about the lip sync. Don't worry, Mike. I can't do much about that. I can alter the lip sync internally. It's different every time I go to transmit. What I try to do is looking at the timestamps. I try to synchronize the audio with the video in the software, and sometimes it gets it horribly wrong. Other times it gets it correct. But that's another issue that needs sorting out. Just don't look at my lips. There you go. When I'm talking, you've thrown me off my what I was saying now. Oh, never mind. I didn't really have much to say. I've got I got it working with OBS. I got the Blackmagic capture card working. That required an update to the Blackmagic software, and that's about it really. So, oh, I know what I was going to say. I've tried recording the whole net tonight. Whether I'll be able to input it into my Elements video editing software or not, I don't know, because I suspect with the different audio codecs and the different, I think everybody's using the same PIDs, but the different audio codec are probably going to screw the thing up. But we'll see. So that's all from me tonight. I can find it. There we go. Switch cut.
I thought that was going to come out as H.265. Hang on. No, it hasn't. Okay. Never mind. That option isn't working. I could probably do it manually. Yes, one good thing I'm finding is that with the HDMI encoder box, is the lip sync is always really good. It doesn't seem to falter. That's one of the benefits anyway that seems to work quite well with it. Forward to the new oh yeah. Yeah, well, it's sort of working. Yeah. Hang on. I'll see if I can put the desktop on. Can I do window? I have one with desktop capture somewhere, don't I? Display capture. Yeah, okay, there you go. Right, if I minimise that, that should bring up my display now. Is that going to work? Probably not, because I haven't transitioned. Okay, V9 codec. Okay, there you go. Right, so yeah, this won't look particularly great because that window there is the receiver panel that's got the VLC plug-in. Ignore most of what's going on inside there because that's just going to duplicate itself forevermore. But basically I've got a little control panel here which is like the main program, this one here. All this has got on it is basically open and close the TCP connection to the Raspberry Pi on the network, which has the Longmin software running on it and a little script in Python to communicate. And I've got a button here which basically starts another thread with another receiver in a panel like this. If I press this button again, I will get another receiver, and basically it brings the same picture up because I haven't got it programmed to do anything else yet. But that will basically bring up the second receiver if you have any. At the moment, this that runs on the Raspberry Pi, which has the Longmin and Minitune receiver board connected to it, has only got one connected. I do have two boards inside the box ready to use it, but I haven't done anything with that yet. So yeah, this is just a little control panel, so you can actually tune one receiver manually if you wanted to use it like a normal receiver. But at the moment, I've designed this around tuning other signals. So if I go onto the quick tune and press another signal, basically it comes up there, and hopefully, there you go, it brings the picture up and then we can see who it is, ON8YY, with quite poorly video there. And I've got, let's go to another one, 250. Is this going to decode anytime soon? There we go, let's pick that up. It didn't pick up the size there, but as you can see, it's fairly rapid. If I go to this 1 mega symbol, it'll pick that up pretty quick. There we go, there's his picture up now, and it doesn't care whether it's 265, 264, MPEG 1 or AAC or anything really. So it generally works quite well, and on the beacon, that just comes up instantly. It must send the basically all the channel information and resolution and things like that really quickly, right, a lot of the time. And you can see how quick it changes there. If I just jump between those two, it's basically, you're looking at like a second and a bit till relock on kind of thing. It's really nice. If I go back to mine, how quick does that come up? There we go, 265, that comes up pretty sharpish as well. So it all works pretty well, but say it isn't finished yet. I want to make it so you can have multiple receivers. So you just plug a extra couple of mini tunes into your Raspberry Pi, and then you could have 3 running or something. You could have 3 panels open up, and it would stream to 3 separate UDP ports. Because at the moment it just streams to 1, but yeah, it seems to work reasonably well. And for the net, it's really good in the way that if a signal drops out, it basically just resets VLC in there, built-in VLC sort of thing. So go back to that 250. Yeah, it's not a particularly good picture, but it generally gets the aspect ratio right as well, because it brings it in from possibly a different place to what Minitune does. I don't know, but I just read it in from wait till VLC detects the stream, and then it has to say, right, once you've got a valid resolution and aspect, then it'll start displaying it basically. So yeah, Roger Clive, won't be long. So yeah, that isn't coming through particularly well, but yeah, it's just basically there's a little volume slider there, and then there's the call signs and information, frequency, symbol rate, MER versus what it needs to be for that modulation, resolution, the codecs and the aspect ratio. So it works quite well really. So I don't know what Mum and Dad are watching. Entertaining them anyway. So there we go. But yeah, it works quite well. So we shall see. Okay. So yeah, basically I need to kind of like package it up and then as it is, and hope that adding another receiver isn't too difficult. I need to build the other receiver and then I can test it. But then again, I suppose I could just plug my other Minitune in, couldn't I? Anyway, but yeah, the box is, hang on, let me just see. That's the box, the work in progress. So there's a box there. It's got a power supply module which isn't connected. There's a Raspberry Pi. Is it Pi 3? Oh, it's not stopping in there. Doesn't need a Pi 3. It doesn't do anything tasking at all. So it's got a Pi 3 in it at the moment. We've got mini tuner at the back there, and then I haven't populated that board yet to test it. So as you can see, there's an interesting bodge on the FTDI because it isn't going out the back anymore. It's just hardwired to a USB cable and goes straight into the Pi. It's been so stable as that. It never ever blocks up. I can just switch that on every day and it never stops working. Try doing that on your main PC. So less USB connections the better. So yeah, probably end up doing the same with the other board eventually. And then put some 5 volts and a front panel on and a network socket on the back rather than it coming out the side. But that's basically going to be the mini tune server. And that's the bottom one is the 2.4 gig booster amp in there, so that's what's in that one. So there we go. Right, that might be the last one. I'm going to have a bit of chat with Clive now on 6 meters, so it's probably going to be it. So there we go. Very good. Okay, no, yeah, there's not a great deal. It was just manipulating the restarting of Longmind within kind of like a script, and then just basically accepting TCP commands to tell it what to look for, where to go looking, and send the status information that Longmind sends out, send that back down the TCP back to the program on Windows. So it's kind of what I wanted. I just haven't got around to finishing it because I get distracted with other things, you know. So that thing down there, which has crashed again on the USB, annoyingly. I need to get that back on the network. That's been distracting us. And the various other things. There's other little software projects kicking around in the background I'm working on as well. So not getting particularly far ahead on those. I keep stopping and starting, but anyway. There we are. So this is turning into the after net, isn't it? Or is it the after net broadcast? I don't know. Right, definitely going this time. So 7 threes, and yeah, I may appear again tomorrow. You never know. So yeah, maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll try and package up what I've got so far on that, and you can have a play with it. I don't know what has to be installed on Windows to get the plugin to work. It's VLC.net which it uses. Right, it does it differently to what Minitune does. I don't know how that interfaces with VLC, but C# uses VLC.net, so seems to be a standard thing. Don't know. Took a little bit of figuring out, but once it's going, it's fine. So there we are. Right. Good night, all. 0 DTS, and we'll have a different test card. There we go. Good night to all.